How many faults are you allowed in the driving test before you fail? That's what we're going to cover today, and we're going to look at some of the most common things that people do on it. So let's just clear something up right at the beginning. If you get one serious or one danger on the driving test, you're going to fail. There's no ifs or buts. You're not allowed to get any of them, and you're allowed to get a maximum of 15 driver faults before you actually fail your test. 16 is a fail. But, and this is quite important, if you get more than, say, 3, maybe 4 if you're very lucky, in one section, and one section or one category could be mirrors section, so use of mirrors, change of direction. If you're not checking your side mirrors when you're changing direction, and it's a reoccurring fault, then it will eventually become serious. So while we're driving along, I'm just going to talk about some of the faults people do, some of the common faults, and hopefully by watching it straight through you'll avoid these when you take your driving test. So moving off, an easy one, look round, do your 5-point check. Even at the test centre, do your 5-point check, because there could be a learner car next to you that's about to move off, and if you move off at the same time, straight away the examiner might put the foot on the brake because you're going to hit each other, or you definitely get a fault for not looking. So have a look round, do your 5-point check, it's definitely clear, and we're moving off. And remember, in the first 5 minutes it's always quite tricky. You feel a little bit nervous, so just be steady, don't take any silly risks. And there's always going to be a junction that you're going to come to in the next few minutes. So when we're driving along here, I'm going to come to a junction, and this is one of the most common ones. Junctions, not giving effective observations or taking risks. So we're going to turn right at this junction here. So check your mirrors, signal right, so mirrors checked, signal checked, and a right, left, right. And it's quite a common one. They don't give it effective observations because they're in a rush. So there's a minimum right, left, right. That's the minimum you want to be doing. If it's crowded with cars, parked up, making it hard, then stop and have a good look. You know, right, left, right, right, left, right again. And if you still can't see, then edge forward a little bit. Don't just shoot out thinking that'll do. There's a story of a student I taught a few years ago, and she was waiting to get out of a junction, she was turning actually a right merge, just like I did then, and she was waiting and waiting because it's busy. And after about 5 minutes, she just went for it, got back to the test centre and failed. The examiner says to her, "Why did you go?" It wasn't clear. "Well, I waited for 5 minutes. I thought I'd fail for waiting." "No," he said, "you failed for pulling out and there's a car there." If you can't go, you can't go, he said. So don't kind of get the nerves to make you feel worse. So yeah, junctions is a common one. Not looking properly, not stopping and have a good look if you need to, or even worse, this one here, we're going to go left here. I can definitely see it's clear. Now there's nothing behind me, so if I slow down at this junction here and stopped and had another look, I'm going to get a fault for observations. It's definitely clear, and the examiner's going to say, "And why are you stopping? It's clear." Now if there's a car behind me and I've done that, then I'm going to get a serious because I'm holding traffic up, right? Because there's nothing there. It's like, then nothing there, I went. But if I stopped, I'm going to get a fault because I could see clearly. But if you can't see because there's cars there, or there's pedestrians there, or cars are coming, then you've got to stop. But you've got to, this is where your observations and your skill of driving will improve all the time. So it's taking, don't take silly risks, but when you can go. Don't just sit there for no reason. So yeah, junctions is a common one. It's either not looking, or stopping for no reason, or another one, when you do stop, pull off in the wrong gear and stall. So when it comes to stalling, people say to me a lot of times, "Do I fail for stalling?" Well, you're not going to fail for stalling the car. What you will fail for is holding traffic up or continue stalling. So if we pull over on the left here, I'll give you an example. So I'm pulling over, that car behind me knows I'm pulling over, so check the mirror signal. That's another one. Make sure you do the right thing, let everyone know your intentions, otherwise it's going to be a fault. So I pulled over, and then as soon as you pull over, the examiner says, "Off you go when you're ready." So, oh, I've stalled. At that point, I'm in the wrong gear. So put your foot on the clutch, start the car, make sure you're back in first gear, don't panic about it, have a look round, and I'm off. That's not going to be serious, it's just going to be a driver fault for stalling, moving off. Because you've not held anyone up, all you've done is stall the car moving off. But the important thing is, it's a recovery from it. So you clutched it before you started the car, so you don't kangaroo forward, and you selected the first gear, because it's either you're in the wrong gear, so it's a gear's fault moving off, or you're not controlling the clutch, jumping off the clutch. So it's probably going to be a fault with the gears. And just talking about gears, by the way, if you're holding back on gear changing, and by that I mean if you're going up the speeds, you should be going up the gears. If you're slowing down, you should be slowing down with the gears, or going low with the gears, I should say. So I'm slowing down for the traffic, keeping a 2-second gap, or make sure I can see his tyres. That's another fault. If you get right behind the bumper and you can't see their tyres, you're going to get a fault for clearance. You're too close to the car in front of you. So we're moving off, I'm in first gear, I'm building my speed up, and you can hear the car up, so I'm changing gear. I'm waiting too long in the gear change then, you see. So I just got to remind myself, the faster I go, the higher I go up the gears. And if you hold back on the gears, you get a gears fault, because what's happening is you're using more fuel, because you're using the revs of the engine going higher and higher all the time because of it. So it's a gears fault. Or if you're, as another example here, I'm going to do a right turn here, so I'm checking my mirror signalling, I'm in third gear, slowing down, it's clear, but I've not changed gear, and the car's struggling a little bit, and I'm going round in third gear, and so I'm going to get a gears fault because I'm in the wrong gear. I should be in a lower gear there, not a higher gear, because I want to control the speed. Because as soon as you come off the brake, it's either going to speed up or it's going to be judging like anything on you. So if you go faster, go up the gears. If you go slower, come down the gears. And if you stop, straight into first gear. Don't kind of wait for the traffic and then move off in the wrong gear. One of the things that you're going to get on the driving test is a manoeuvre, and they're going to mark you for control and observation. So we're going to use this car in front of you as an example. They don't park very well, I have to say. They're on the curb, which is not very good. So all they'll say to you is, this is the sort of gap you're going to get from a parallel park, and they'll say to you, I want you to get yourself next to that car parallel, and then reverse back behind it within 2 car lengths, finishing reasonably next to the curb, not too far away, obviously not on the curb. And if it's going wrong, you can always go forward and shunt it. So we're in gear, have a look around, there's no rush. If there's no cars around, then you want to make your move, because it makes it easier then. Get myself next to the car, slow myself down, pop it in reverse, have a look round, still no one around, and I'm bringing it in. So I'm not in a rush, I'm just taking my time, looking round, and that's what you got to say. I'm looking in the side mirror there, see how far away I am, looking round, there's a car coming, keep an eye on him, and I'm just going to stop a second while he goes past me. And that's what you should be doing, stopping for them, because they're going to go round you. Look around, I'm going to get the lock on so I don't mount the curb like that person next to me. And I'm getting close to the curb, so rather than hit the curb, I'm going to pop it in first, have a look round, and I'm in. And that's a manoeuvre done. Handbrake neutral. Right, okay, they might even open the door. I can see them okay. So pop it in reverse, because they'll say off you go when you're ready. Then reverse back. Just enough space to get out easy, and then drive off when you're ready, when it's safe. And that's just a typical example of a manoeuvre on the test. So it's always about control and observation. And I've done a little shunt forward then, because when I was reversing in, I could see in my left mirror there that back tyre on the passenger side was getting close to the curb. I didn't want to mount the curb. I definitely didn't want to do what that car was doing, because that was ridiculously mounted there. So one of the other things we should be doing then is appropriate speeds. So if you're driving along and this road's here 30 miles an hour, I'm looking at my speedometer, I'm doing 25, I've got lights coming up, so I'm not going to go too fast. I'm going to be doing a right at the lights, but I don't want to go too fast. So I'm checking what's happening, the lights are changing, so I'm covering my brake. Stick us a bright signal at this point, because I didn't want to turn too early, because there'd be a right turn there, signal timing. That's another thing. If you signal way too early, it can confuse people. So it's a signal timing fault. And if you signal way too early and someone pulls out in front of you, you're going to get a serious, because you're going to have to react to them. So it's timing the signal at the right point, depending on what's in front of you and around you. Back to second gear, not holding back on the gears, remember. So yeah, appropriate speed, quite a common one. People in the first few minutes of the driving test might go a little bit slow, but as the test goes on, they start to speed up, and you've got to keep an eye on things. Know what the speed limits are, know what you're doing. It's got to be appropriate. If it's a 30-mile-an-hour road and you're doing 15 for no reason, you're going to get a driver fault for going slow. Right? And if you continue to go slow, then what's going to happen is you're going to get another driver fault the next road you go to. So this is one road. When I turn onto another road, it's going to be another driving fault. So if I don't speed up on this next road because I've slowed down for the right turn, if I keep it slow, all the examiner's going to do is keep an eye on it. And if it's a faster road, they might even say, you know it's a faster road, you know it's a 40-mile-an-hour road, or it's a national speed limit. So they're saying to you, put your foot down at that point, and you've already picked up a fault for it. But these faults accumulate, so every road you come to is going to be a fault if you're going slow. And what's going to happen then is it's going to be a series, because remember I said at the beginning, you can get 3 faults in the same category, and the 4th one could become a series. If you're lucky, you might get 4 and then 5 as a series. Depends on the route and the ride, the drive, and how the examiner's seeing you driving. They might even chat to you about it at the end of it. You might even get 3 or 4 in that box and get away with just 3 or 4 faults and just say to you, you need to keep an eye on it more. Another one would be meeting situations, and I'm on about meeting oncoming cars, parked cars, bicyclists, pedestrians, all these people, and all these things are meeting situations where you've got to assess whether it's safe to go or you should be giving way. Now remember, if you go round a parked car on your side and the oncoming car has to slow down for you, it's going to be a fault. And if they have to brake hard for you and stop for you, this is serious. And if the examiner has to step in and put the foot on the brake, it's dangerous. So we're going to go left at this little roundabout, and there's usually a few parked cars, so it might give opportunities to give way. So there's a couple of vans up there, and they can see the cars all braking. So I'm not slowing down yet, I'm going back up to 3rd gear, because I've kept it in a low speed, I'll get done for going too slow. There's a parked heavy goods vehicle, and I'm just going to be cautious here. I'm going to check my mirrors, slow down a little bit. I can see up the road, there's a gap in the middle, because seeing that red car go in then. So I can definitely go and give the car that you're overtaking adequate space. One of the faults people do is when they're in tight roads, they'll give way to oncoming cars, and when they pull out they get too close to the parked car, and it's clearance obstructions, so you're going to get a fault. And if the examiner has to step in, it's going to be dangerous, because last thing they want to do is you hit the car or knock a wing mirror off or clip the bumper of a car. So remember, all these little things are easy to sort out. It's easy to do. Okay, so keep at it. If you like the video and you're enjoying the video and you want to see more of this, then watch out for my next video next week. Click on that subscribe, and see you then.